Welcome to Marketing State of Mind, the podcast where clarity meets visibility. I'm Lynn Colepaugh, strategist and systems whisperer, here to unpack the mindset behind your marketing moves. Whether you're launching, scaling, or starting over, let's find the choices that actually feel like you. Welcome to A Marketing State of Mind. And today we have a fabulous guest with us, Wes Towers. He is the founder of Uplift 360, where he helps construction companies grow through smarter websites and SEO. And he has learned the hard way, well, all the best ones have, by building his own business from the ground up, making mistakes, and getting his hands dirty. I really love that. And now you help others avoid those same painful lessons. So why don't you tell us a little bit more about how you got started in marketing and design and what you do online?
Yeah, sure. So I studied graphic design, multimedia. I'm here in near Melbourne, and studied graphic design / multimedia at uni. Websites weren't really a thing. So once I finished, well, they were, but not for every small business. So I finished uni, got a job at an award-winning marketing company to be a designer, and they won a project to design the website, design a website, and they said, well, you better figure out how to build this website. So I got thrown in the deep end with that, but it was fantastic working in a marketing company. So I had the graphic design understanding and background and the tech with the multimedia, but to understand marketing, and I fell in love with it working through that company. And so things evolved pretty fast for me. And soon after that, realistically, it was only a few years working for other people. And then I started my own business. So I was completely naive, didn't know what I was doing, didn't know how to market my own business. So I had to, as I said, as you said, I had to learn the hard way in a lot of ways.
So when you're working with companies then, coming from that graphic design background, they must arrive, much like I've seen them arrive with me, just an absolute mess and just we want something and we don't know how to get it, but our competitors are doing it this way, so we should probably do it that way. So when you're sitting down with that design mentality because it's your foundation, how do you help them find clarity in all the mess that they kind of show up with?
Yeah, absolutely. So you mentioned it. Clarity is the absolute key with design. When you think about a brand, it's obviously holistic in a company, but the visual branding, if you've got clarity in the message and who you are and what you stand for, you can distill that down really crisply into a distinct icon, if it's a logo or whatever the case may be. But without that clarity of precisely who you are in the industry and what sets you apart, what makes you different, it becomes really difficult, and it is a mess if you're just sort of trying to emulate other businesses. It's a nightmare because it's kind of like what AI and ChatGPT is doing right now in terms of producing content. If you leave it to the tool, it's just that average of everybody's thoughts. So no one wants to be average, and you're never going to stand out being average. You've really got to set yourself apart and have clarity around who you are as a brand, as a business, as a personal brand, if it's a small business as well, and distill those thoughts down into if it's something visual, something that represents that core message of who you are.
That makes sense. And you mentioned, using AI in a super generic way to try and shape your company without giving it vision. And
Yeah.
you mentioned following competitors. And that was actually something I was going to ask you for. If you see that there's something that the common mistakes in branding that companies make. So you kind of outline those. I don't know if you have any more, or even maybe just how to fix those quickly or how to fix other mistakes quickly so that they can lead and become more clear on who they are as a company.
Yeah, often it's about stripping back a lot
Mm,
of the what sometimes companies get so concerned about not reaching everybody that they reach nobody. So it's ideal to focus on the core things that you do really well. Um, I did this with a client really recently. So they had a massive service offering, related, uh, construction related. So they were building materials. So they were selling lots of different building materials, but realistically, a lot of that was third party materials. So they were marketing whole bunch of things that weren't really very profitable. And it was just noise and diluted their core offering. So their core offering was incredibly profitable. So by stripping back all the stuff that was third party products and just focusing on what their building materials was, things improved out of sight. So it was about remove. It was actually um, would have been easier just focusing on their core service offering in the outset, but that's often what happens. People sort of try and broaden the horizons, and by that they dilute what they're communicating as a brand. So
that makes sense. And you mentioned the construction industry, which is an industry that you love. And I don't work deeply in it, but I do work with contractors, so
yeah,
electricians, plumbing, and heating industry. All that group, and it's really interesting that that group almost works in a different ecosystem of needs. Like they
yeah,
still need websites and they
yeah,
still need marketing and they still need like AI and automated systems to help them with their day to day.
yeah,
But the needs are different. I find, and I don't know about you, a lot of them are set it and forget it. Like, let's make this
yeah,
website and there, I'm done with that. And I never
yeah,
have to worry about it again. And it's like, oh, well,
yeah,
you should probably
yeah.
maybe do a little bit more. So, what about those companies that do the set it and forget it and they come in and they say, "Well, I'm not really getting anything." Where do you start with them and advise them to move forward?
Yeah, it's really it's sometimes difficult with those sorts of companies. We call them tradies here in Australia, the tradies. So they're contractors and so on, electricians and plumbers and painters and all that. I've got quite a number of those clients. I include them kind of in the construction sort of field. The we I don't know how it is in your part of the world, but in Australia we had a really big boom time for all those companies were just busy all the time, so they could let their marketing go. It was all horrible. It's same for you. You're in Canada, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's the exact same. They can kind of just sit back and the leads are coming in,
yeah.
but they don't know, they can barely handle the volume.
Yeah, so that's how it was here, but things have turned a little bit. So yeah, Australia's struggling a little bit financially, I think, and just a lot of businesses struggling, and particularly those contractors, tradies. It's not as easy to win work as it once was. So I'm
Uh,
finding a lot of people who had websites designed a long, long time ago, and they're so outdated. Even I got one the other day, and their address was wrong, and the phone number was wrong, and this website, even simple things like
oh.
that. So you know, they let them lapse because they don't have a burning need to get more work. But once that need comes back, and it always will come back, things don't stay up forever. They just have to fight a little harder. So they're reinvesting in marketing and redoing their websites, thinking about how they communicate the message more broadly because things are changing. People are finding businesses through ChatGPT and the like. So making sure you're found everywhere. We do a lot of search engine optimization. We're starting to call it search everywhere optimization because realistically, people use ChatGPT and the like to research anything these days. I certainly do. So yeah, it's getting a message out there for those people that is becoming more important than it was a few years ago.
No, that makes absolute sense. And we're a little bit on that, as I kind of mentioned as you were talking, on that cusp of it's not so much as getting found, it's the internal systems of
Yeah.
handling the volume of calls and
Yeah.
requests. That's where they're getting really clogged up.
Yeah,
Mm.
yeah, true. Yeah,
Yeah.
so some just don't have a propensity to want to grow. Like if they're getting so many leads, they have the potential to grow their business, but the systems fail to allow that to happen. So it can be difficult. Just some people aren't really wired that way. But yeah, with the right systems, they can just amplify things. And the systems are getting easier and easier as well, different software and tools and techniques and things that you can build in. If you can build them into your offering, your business as a just part of the process, so it's just a habit that you follow. That's the gold, really.
Yeah. And just based on what you were saying, you kind of mentioned systems a little bit. So when someone comes in and you're working on their site and it always comes up, at least it comes up with me. Do you want a form? Do you want an email? How do you want people to connect with you? And you're looking at them and going, they need a system, and they're going to hate the fact that they need a system. How do you approach that kind of mindset of not making the presentation or the need of the system stifling, meaning trying to
Yeah.
make it in an appealable way that they're like, okay, we can do this. We can manage this. It is within our grasp.
Yeah. Really, it can be difficult. I hear where you're coming from. The best, I suppose, when I was starting out in business, I was reluctant to tell people what they need. I just sort of listened, and as I've grown in confidence, I just kind of tell people now what they should do, and then they say it's your choice, but this is what you should do, and people sort of appreciate that kind of guidance, and to be upfront with the teething problems because typically there's a time investment with anything new that people are going to get involved in it. So I do try to, so that's one aspect of it, but also to try and step it out into bite-sized chunks so they can deal with it, not all at once. So that we can minimize the overwhelm because there will be some overwhelm typically at some times if they're busy on the tools as well. For a smaller business, the people you're working with, they're on the tools daily, so it's difficult. But if they've got office staff, it becomes a little bit easier.
Yeah. Okay. But I mean that makes sense, and I kind of think of it the same way. Little bite size, little appetizer pieces to get them into the mindset of creating a system that can support them.
Yeah,
And you had kind of mentioned it a little bit, and it's a little bit in the information you have online that you like to empower businesses to take control of their marketing. So what mental shifts do they have to do to get there? Like, how do they have to change their mindset to go, we are going to be more active in our marketing, whether it's online or print or just getting out there versus just that, much like we mentioned earlier, that set it and forget it and it's done mentality?
yeah. So I tend to come alongside the client in whatever level they kind of want. Some of the things. So oftentimes, what it is we might help them with the content writing for the blog, for example, and give them guidance on how they can repurpose that into their social media. Um, so that's a great way of just using the same kind of set of ideas, but repurposing it into different platforms so that that one piece of content can be reused over and over. So coming alongside and giving another way I tend to do it is make little videos as well. So if someone needs to jump in and use a tool, so I'll do it for them and record screen, and that becomes a tutorial for them for the next time, and with some little tips and tricks. People really appreciate those quick videos. It's just me working on the fly and just talking through what we're doing, they pick it up, pretty quickly. So yeah, just those little tips where you can support a small business really goes a long way, as another small business, because the bigger guys wouldn't be doing that level of support oftentimes.
No, that makes sense. And when I think about, I mean, gosh, there's so much happening in the digital landscape right now. I mean, the second you think you have it figured out, there is some kind of update somewhere that changes everything. So, for you specifically, when you're thinking of marketing your company or looking at new marketing opportunities, how do you decide where to put your energy? So, not necessarily your dollars, but your time and the things that bring value to what you're doing.
Yeah, there's always a time investment, isn't it? Oftentimes, the time investment is bigger than the financial investment for a lot of the marketing. So the way I look at it, and anything that I can do that only I can do is kind of the things that I focus on. So things like this is getting my personal brand out. And whilst we can have AI videos, there's nothing. It's not me. It's there's that authenticity is lost in that process. So I'm just focusing more and more on humanizing our business, because I think it's going to set businesses apart as everything gets pushed further and further into AI and digital, and that's great. And we use that to enhance what we're doing, but it should enhance the human experience, and I think it will. It's kind of that never before in history, I think, has being human more important, because there's a potential for us to just leave the tools to do what they do, and not have that human element. So
I agree 100% when I'm scrolling social media. If there's like it used to be interesting before to see, oh, what is this AI generated image or AI generated video? And now I'm like, if I see one more video that has caught my eye where the people are gliding, not even
yeah,
walking, but it's obviously AI generated, I get angry, I think, that I'm like, "You
yeah,
wasted my time, it's not even real." So, yes, I
yeah,
100% agree that it's funny that the humanizing of our companies is putting us ahead. It is, like,
yeah,
setting us apart, and much like you, it's like niching down and putting our personal thumbprint and DNA out there almost, like, "This is me, and this is what I do," is now part of the marketing versus I am a company, I make websites and do SEO and all that stuff. So I 100% agree with you on that.
yeah. Yeah, it's a funny thing. It's almost like, well, we always appreciated art because it was someone's hand, like, and the artist and the story and who created it, and we wanted to know it was originally the artist that we thought it was, for the value. So I think that's how we're going to measure businesses as well. The value is in the people who touched it with their hands. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, exactly. Well, you know what? Just to bring it to a close, then I want to say thank you very much for joining me. This has been great. I always love getting different perspectives on marketing and what's happening and going, yeah, he's doing it too, and I'm doing it too, and yeah, we're on to something. So thank you very much for
yeah,
joining me.
that's been great
And I have
fun.
one final question. If you could hand our listeners just one action they could take right now that would move them closer to marketing in a way that actually works for them. So something that would make their lives easier or a mindset or something that would actually make it go kind of thing. What would that be?
Yeah, so I would spend time distilling down precisely what your core message and offering is. So it's that one page version of truth, if you like, or however you want to define it. But I think some of the questions you can ask yourself to quickly get to that point is ask yourself, what is it that frustrates me about my industry, or what are other people? And these are questions you wouldn't probably, they questions you would ask yourself, but you would reframe them by the time you communicate it to others. But it will quickly help you define what is what your values are in business. So what is it that frustrates you in the industry that you're working in, or what are other people doing wrong that you think you do better? Those are the key things that you should be distilling down and figuring out your own brand of voice and all those types of things. I mean, I talk to Chat GPT. It's my psychologist. It's my business coach. It's kind of a brainstorming tool. So some of these questions I chat with it all the time while I'm driving around and so on. So to distill down precisely who you are, what sets you apart, what makes you authentically you in your business, and I think that's a great foundation for any company.
I feel like you've cloned part of my brain because I agree with that so much. So thank you. Thank you very much. And oh, before we head out, what is the best way for people that are interested in talking with you or learning more about you and what you do? What's the best way for them to connect with you?
Yeah, so I've got all the socials, but the easiest way to find me, uplift360.com.au, Australian site, so .au. From there, you'll find all the social media links as well. And LinkedIn, people can reach out to me, connect with me on LinkedIn. I accept everybody. I know that's something not everyone does, but I do. So connect on LinkedIn. I'm happy to chat there too.
Perfect. Perfect. Thank you again.
Thanks, Lynn.
And we look forward to seeing more about you and finding out more about you as we go through. Thank you.
Great. Thanks, Lynn.
Thank you for tuning in to Marketing State of Mind. If this sparks something, hit subscribe and share it with someone navigating visibility too. Want to work together or see how I help vision-driven brands get clear and seen? Head to cyberprarmy.com or connect with me on LinkedIn, Lynn Colepaugh. Until next time, sit in the clarity and remember, visibility isn't about shouting. It's about saying the right thing in the right state of mind.